Are you coming to the tree? Be strong up a man, they say come out at 3. Strange things did happen here, no stranger would it be if we met at midnight in that hanging tree. The hanging tree was a song that led them to go onwards with their attack with the capital, and it made the rebels not lose hope or strength. Some background information about the song is that Suzanne Collins herself wrote the lyrics of the song. So it wasn't just some random songwriter that inserted words and put it into the movie. So I think it definitely had an impact on the whole story plot. For those of you that didn't read the book yet, I'm gonna tell you some stuff that are in the book and are also in the movie, but just with the minor adjustments because, well, it's a movie, first of all. And this is the book. Red, blue, white. Let's get rid of this because we're not doing a book review. So, the movie came out, part 1. Part 1 came out on November 21st, 2014. And I heard that the second part is going to come out November 20th, 2015. Wow, that's easy to remember. So I cannot wait until it comes out. But, I'll just catch up with some other movies. They're good movies. So this is a war adventure film. So just as you hear the genre, you're like, ooh, that sounds scary, dark, gloomy. Well, it kind of is. So when I read the book Mockingjay, I kind of felt confused. But as I watched the movie, I felt like I could understand more because Mockingjay was more political than although there was a few scenes. So I felt like the movie helped me understand. But since it's only part 1, there's a lot more to expect, right? It's only the first 2 hours. There's another 2 hours added to the back of the story. So you don't know if there are any twists or turns or stuff that you don't know yet. But you kind of know because I read the book and it follows the storyline. So I'm not going to give a full-on cold turkey judgment on the movie because it's not over yet. I hated how it ended though. It's such a bad ending. So I'm gonna tell you a few of the minor differences between the book and the movie. This time, unlike the other times with the book and the movie, there weren't a lot of major differences. There were just some that kind of been like, oh wait, that was different in the book. So it just kind of appeared to my mind. The first one was in the very beginning, when the movie starts, Katniss is in a nightmare, I guess. But it looks visual because you don't know yet, because later on, she goes like, whoa, and then she wakes up. In the book, it begins with Katniss in District 12, while in the movie, it was Plutarch's idea to send Katniss to District 12. And again, I am horrible with pronunciation, so I don't even know if it's pronounced Plutarch or Plutarch. I don't know. Ask Suzanne Collins. The second one is when BT, the really smart dude, when BT shows his inventory of inventions, I guess, and he shows what he made for Katniss. So there are 3 different arrows. It's regular, and then fire, and explosive. So in the book, he actually divides Katniss's bow arrow container into 3 cylinders, and he says the right side is fire, left side explosive, and center regular. So that's how she would know to pull out the right arrow because she doesn't want to bomb her own house, right? However, in the movie, it didn't really show that, so I was kind of confused. They were all mixed in. So I'm like, how would she know? Is she psychic? Does she have eyes on the back of her head? But I guess it didn't matter because it didn't change the story plot as much. And the third and last minor difference I'm going to tell you about is when President Snow sends the right roses to where Katniss is. He sends, I don't even know, maybe thousands of them in the movie, and he only sends 24 in the book. So again, these 3 aren't my major differences. They're just something that caught my mind. Oh, and sorry, oops, I forgot to tell you about the characters. I was so embedded into the juicy details. of the movie and the book that I forgot to tell you. Well, of course, you know Jennifer Lawrence, Katniss Everdeen, and Prim Everdeen. Oh, who really cares about Prim right now? Sorry, Prim. You're pretty though. I like your hair. But there's Katniss, and then there's Gale. Did anyone realize that Gale is Liam Hemsworth? Do you think of anyone when you think of Hemsworth? Oh, wait, I think of something. Of someone with a big hammer and a long cape and long hair. And he's in the Avengers. Yeah, Thor! Oh my god, his name is Chris Hemsworth. You know, they're brothers. Did I know that? And I'm telling you, their mother is so lucky. She doesn't just have 2 handsome dudes, she has 3 because they have youngest, Luke Hemsworth. Do you think that's fair? That's not fair. I declare no justice. But again, they make movies fun. So, I guess that works too. So, there's, I think, 2 of the major characters, especially in this movie. And then there's Peeta. Peeta kind of acts as like the bad guy in the Mockingjay, but he doesn't appear as much as he did in the Hunger Games, obviously, because he's trapped in the capital, getting tortured. So, he's not shown that much, but when he is shown during the TV, he looks kind of manipulated in a way, and Katniss also mentions that Peeta doesn't look the same. Like, even his voice is different. His face is like, it's like dark circles everywhere. He looks so tortured, basically. So, but I felt like I didn't really like Katniss at that moment because she cared so much about Peeta when there's Gale right next to her, like, oh, rude. And I don't like it with this love triangle thing. Like, Katniss, Peeta, and Gale. Did anyone realize that in the movie, well, for those of you that didn't watch it yet, you don't know. But if you did watch the movie, did anyone realize that Peeta technically was trying to kill Katniss? He was about to until the dude knocked his head out with the pan. Well, I think that's unfair. I don't know if Katniss is stupid, because I don't think she's stupid. She's pretty smart, but I don't think she's smart when it comes to this kind of stuff. Like, look at Gale and then look at Peeta. Like, look at their faces. Who would you choose? Think realistically. I'm sorry, Mrs. Collins, but I don't like how you format the characters. I like being honest. So this love triangle thing that's embedded into this war, it kind of brings, this is where it kind of brings like the adults in. You know, it's always the teenagers that come because this is, well, it's a teenager novel, I guess. So adults are like, this is nonsense, like who reads this stuff? And then they get out their newspaper and their glasses and they're like, ooh, oh, ISIS. And then there's this. But then the romance kind of, I don't know, I guess they can apply it to their own lives because Katniss has gone through so much with Peeta. She's gone through like pains, happiness, and most of her memories are with Peeta, even though Gale was her childhood friend. But as soon as the happiness got taken away from Katniss, all she had was Peeta because, well, the Hunger Games technically destroyed Katniss after being in it twice. Like, think about it. You're starving 2 times. I think I'm hungry now. So I think that's why Suzanne Collins made Katniss choose Peeta over Gale, even though Gale is 10 times more handsome. And he has so much better hair, and Peeta looks, well, 15. So I think that's one of the reasons why, and another reason maybe like she didn't know the cast before she wrote the book, obviously. And she was a co-producer there, so I'm pretty sure she dealt with all the complaints about Gale and Peeta, so I'll let her handle that. Overall, I think Mockingjay Part 1 was about the same as the book. I would usually say in movie reviews that the book was so much better than the movie. This one, not so much, because I'm gonna tell you a few reasons why. The book was confusing to me so much. Even though I read a lot of books, this was one of the hardest to understand because it was all political. I don't do history, okay? I do science, no history for me. No political stuff, no be like, oh, you are guilty of this crime of stealing a pack of gum. I don't deal with that kind of stuff. I deal with like E equals MC squared or whatever. I think that's Einstein. Yeah, it's Einstein. So this political thing wasn't really my type, so I didn't really like the book. It wasn't really like the ideal type. But then the movie came out, and I'm like, oh, that's what's happening. That's what they're freaking out about. I get it now. Kind of. Still confused. But I got the basic overview from the movie. So the book has a lot more details, obviously, because she's telling the readers. So they have more freedom in imagining things. However, the movie, on the other hand, is more kind of like, Candace is feeling this right now, Peeta is feeling this right now. And you can't really say anything because it's a movie and you're watching it and we're earning money. So I feel like you should watch the Mockingjay Part 1 just because I feel like Mockingjay Part 2 is going to be a lot better. And who wants to read half of the book? Who wants to read the second half and not read the first half? That's just weird. Although I do read the end first, sometimes, in books. Maybe. So I suggest you watch Mockingjay Part 1 and then when Mockingjay Part 2 comes out, like, I don't know, 9 months later, I'll get back to you. Oh, by the way, I just want to say how Candace Everdeen, Jennifer Lawrence, you're a good singer. Are you coming to the tree? Oh wait, this is supposed to be sad. Okay. Are you coming to the tree? They strung up a man, they say who murdered 3. Strange things that happen here, no stranger would it be if you met at midnight in that hanging tree.